Hello there, it is Keith. I am a 56-year-old raw vegan, soon to be 57 in months. I also happen to be one of very few people in the world that has ever beaten the HIV virus, not taking meds, haven't been taking meds for some time. Before I was just keeping it under control with some of the protocol I'm going to talk about, but recently with a big breakthrough from my mentor, a guy called Truth Calkins, I have actually eradicated the virus from my body. So how I started down the path of controlling the virus is basically going to be related to the coronavirus and what I have to say about the sort of what's going on and the collective conscious of how people look at disease, viruses, germs. And this video is called Coronavirus, Germ Theory, Terrain, Lifestyle. I might add another word or something on there. So I'm going to read from this book right here. It is one of the early books that I read when I sort of got the feeling in my heart after being a raw vegan for a long time. I did not become raw vegan because of having AIDS, but like I said, and my case is documented in a movie called Behind the Fear. So let me now read from the book. Okay, so if you're new to my scene, which since it has a title that concerns a lot of people are probably going to read this. I do all my videos in one take, and they're very guerrilla style with a cell phone. No editing, just talking, and real life, real stuff from a real person that really does stuff and is not bells and whistles and bullshit. So this is in the introduction of this book called Rainbow Green Diet, which is basically a anti-pathogenic lifestyle, body ecology diet. It's a ketogenic vegan diet. I think the ketogenic part is important, but I think the vegan part is also important because animal products have a lot of germs and bacteria, even after cooking in some cases, or maybe a lot of cases. I don't really know because I don't care. I've always easily been a raw vegan. I've always easily been a vegan, and sort of in my heart felt that for spiritual purposes or whatever, I don't eat meat or animal products. So here we go. So in the late 1800s, French microbiologist Dr. Antoine Bouchon and Dr. Claude Bernard waged a much publicized ongoing debate with Nobel Prize laureate Dr. Louis Pasteur. Pasteur, you know that name? The creator of the germ theory of disease. On his deathbed, Pasteur shocked his attendants by changing his lifelong position with all his remaining strength in his dying moment. In French, of course. Claude Bernard was right. The microbe is nothing. The terrain is everything. Meaning that while I do believe I'm around people who think that this whole panic with the virus is not real, that it's hype inflated or whatever. If it's not real, it will be real, and so people are dying. It's expanding. I also am an astrologer, and I have to say that the astrology seems to indicate that this is going to take off. Jupiter and Pluto being the dark side, Jupiter being expansion, and then we also have this shake-up in culture, which is every 18 years there's some kind of relationship with Pluto and Saturn. And so my videos are metaphysical. They are also dealing with experience. Little tiny bits of science cited, but it's more about experience and what works, and I don't really cite references. It's just about what I know. So it is real, because the quality, we have this big separation of people that have taken health to a completely high end, never before seen in our culture. But then on the other side, we have people that have like taken health and eating completely for granted and have really just gone down a bad road with just eating whatever crap, living a hedonistic lifestyles of taking drugs and smoking cigarettes and watching TV and losing morality and all of these things, and just letting anger and just a very general out of control nature when it comes to like peace of mind, true love, compassion, just let that go asunder for just the complete self-indulgent of, what do you want to call it, of just being an out of control sort of demonic entity. A lot of people are like this, and a lot of people want to make excuses. And so I have been a health food fanatic for a while. I've been a spiritual person for a while. A little bit of my spirituality has been hands-on, a little bit more to the intellectual side at times, of knowing that there is something bigger, that we are spirits in bodies, not bodies with spirits. So I have recently taken on a very hardcore, prolonged meditation practice through S.N. Goenka's Vipassana centers and programs. And so that is really important, to really learn who you really are. And so I do want to get back into the food though. So sugar is the main culprit of all of this. Like, I was at Costco picking up a few of my staples that I do on my diet, and I'm basically a liquidarian now at this point, sort of seeming to make roads towards being a breatharian. But I have been eating a ketogenic vegan diet for this book really started it for me in 2006, which is a no sugar diet, and eating no sugar or anything that the body turns into sugar. So alcohol and kind of what I call shit carbs, high glycemic carbs, and all that. Just turn your body into a hotel, a condominium that germs want to live in. So I'm going to cite an example right now of that. There's the occult axiom, as above, so below, as within, as without. And this is true all the time, and you can call woo-woo to this whatever you want, but I am living experience and proof to some of the stuff that hopefully I'm going to hit on. I just improvised, none of this is planned. But where I live, which is in Running Springs, California, in the mountains, those little black ants that come with food are such a problem here in the mountains. Now, I don't have any sugar or fruit or anything in my house. I don't have any shitty oils or junk food here in my house. And I can tell you that probably everybody that lives in these mountains that eats more or less, even kind of a healthy diet, they're still taking sugar. But I have no problems with ants. And I have never had problems with ants. And so the same is with the body. So these germs are not going to get you if you have a healthy lifestyle. It's just a simple, plain thing. And so back to this quotation from about the history of the germ and where people are. I have never been sick. Even when I was being troubled by really trying to get on the other side of HIV, I never got sick. My body just got overrun with the virus and was creating havoc. But I have been able to control it through this program that's called Body Ecology Diet. And again, it's basically just eating ketogenic and vegan. So and high, nutrient dense and low, low amounts of food, and living a moral life of, basically the 5 precepts in Buddhism: not lying, stealing, cheating, having compassion, sexual misconduct not allowed, and that's open to interpretation as long as you're not creating craving and misery and what have you. But there is a lot to worry about if you are somebody that has a really compromised immune system. Even if you're a young, or a baby, or they say the old are susceptible to this, but you are as well if you're eating out all the time and you're assembling meals more than making them from scratch. I never go to a restaurant. Restaurants are disgusting to me. Why would I want to eat some garbagey, second-rate food that is not alive, that's not nutrient dense, that's being made by people that it's just garbage. The whole culture is so far off with what is a healthy way of living. So and then I want to just say that this, the meditation lifestyle of becoming at peace with the world, becoming at peace with yourself, ending things that create misery, is so important. And that all really starts with just a quietness, a peace of mind, simplifying your life, not running around like all these people chasing their tail for like some sensation that's not going to bring them any pleasure, of getting into what's real. So I don't know where else I can take this for now. I'm going to say that this video is good, but there's a few herbs that you could start getting interested in. The top of that list would be the immune modulating mushrooms. Reishi being at the top of that list. I recommend Hyperion herbs as a #1 source for that. Cordyceps, another mushroom. Agaricus brazii, another mushroom. That one's probably going to have to come from Mushroom Sciences. Chaga. But the first 3 are kind of more the agaricus and reishi, more the immune modulating ones. And then elderberries, elderflowers, and then I want to just say in general, it's a good time to take up a yoga practice and getting your body moving. So many people are so stagnant, so overweight, so having these very static, frozen, numb parts of their body where viruses and other things like to hide. And I do want to emphasize also when you have less other stuff to fight in your body, and this goes for like cancer or anything, your body is able to focus on what it needs to focus. So if you're taking a hit from the coronavirus and you're fighting a cold, or you're fighting some infection, or you're fighting inflammation, the body is supposed to be liquid. It's supposed to be wet, and it's supposed to be warm, and it's cold, dry, just sort of dead lifestyle that people have of drinking, smoking pot, sitting watching TV, being useless, not moving their body. So what you can do right now is start by having maybe skipping breakfast, getting into eating some salads and some good carb stuff. I don't really do carbs, but you got to start somewhere. You got to start where you're at. Start eating whole foods, eating some quinoa, some cooked sweet potatoes, a salad, making a good dressing in a blender with some seeds, nuts, lemons, some coconut oil, some salt, some ginger, garlic, and blend that into a nice cream and pour that over everything. It's so wonderful. And doing a similar thing for a diet. Check some of my videos that are on my channel. I've been eating some cooked, but lately I've been raw for the last few years. I'm a bit of an extreme case, but I just want to come on because of the fact that I have conquered like one of the most difficult diseases. It's a controllable disease. It's easily controllable with medications, but there's all kinds of lawsuits going on now with the long-term effects of HIV meds. And thank God I got out of that. Although I do have thinks, there's no way that I would join in that lawsuit. There was a time when I was taking some of those medications, but I would be dead now if it wasn't for those. And those people that are suing, those things kept you alive. You would have been dead a long time ago. Other stuff, just take charge of your health for Christ's sake. Of likely you're doing stuff wrong. You know, of just eating whole foods, having a kale salad, some tomatoes, some broccoli, and going vegan, going as plant-based as you possibly can. Staying away from all of that, you know. And here's another important thing that you should know is that there's so many things out there of like people that want to be all, you know, buff and look a certain way. And I'm kind of skinny. I'm like really, really skinny. There was most of my life when I was in my early teens, I was running around the 195 mark. I'm more like around the 170, 175 mark. And I'm skinny. And I do a lot of yoga, so I'm strong, and it's a real kind of strength. It's not this fake ass bullshit. And so yeah, there is a place of where people are wanting to eat chicken or some kind of fish or whatever so they can have muscles, but it's all fake. It's all fake. It doesn't mean anything. What are you going to do with that shit when you get to be my age? So I don't think I look young, but I look ageless and I look healthy. And I have color in my eyes and color in my face. And I'm in better shape than I was when I was a teenager. And that's all from not eating at restaurants, eating whole foods, and keeping, for the most part, a very moral life and a spiritual life, and believing, you know, just for God's sake, take charge of your life, take charge of your spirit, pray to God, pray to the angels, ask the angels for help to help you find the truth about what's real in this dimension. Okay, it's Keith. Support me by supporting my music. Links in the drop down to secondculture.bandcamp.com. I make progressive electronic music that's not dance music necessarily, although it has a beat. It's very colorful, sort of like progressive rock meets drum machines and sequencers and stuff like that. And I just want to say thank you for stopping in, and I have ultimate compassion and love for all of us humans fighting together. The world is going to be turned upside down if you don't already figuring that out. If you think, as a fan of astrology, this era right now that we're in has been coming for 10 years. I mean, it's been set for a long time, but people have been talking about it for 10 years. And the last time that we had the Saturn-Pluto conjunction was when they were opposing, or not conjunction, but relation, is when they were opposing each other, which was 2001 during the World Trade Center bombing. And all of history can be marked and studied with the computer now to help see where planets were. And we're in a similar era right now that is, I believe, 1435. That is the similar like lineup of planets, although some would say it goes back even further. But it was when the plague was starting in Europe, and it was when King Henry VIII was turning things upside down with the Catholic Church, starting the Protestant Reformation or something, I think it's called, so he could divorce his wives because they weren't giving him a child. And we're going to have this whole male dominator culture is going to, it's going to look like it's winning, but it's going to fall on its face eventually. I think King Henry VIII got his way where he eventually got an heir to the throne, but I think that person died at a young age. So, anyways, that's where we're at, and I suggest to you to take the high road and start a meditation practice now. Start a moral life now, and start taking care of how you eat now, and start where you're at. You may want to get extreme. If you feel inclined to be extreme, going on to a vegan, ketogenic lifestyle, it'll do you good. You'll save yourself. I'm not too worried about catching anything myself. My immune system is like a nuclear bomb. It was even when I had the HIV virus. I never got sick. My body got overrun with the virus, and now I don't even have that because I stayed persistent with beating what was challenging my blessed life that I have. All right, once again, peace out. It's Keith. Hit the music thing. Buy some of my digital albums. Hit me up. Buy some of my CDs or whatever. This video is without advertisement, so I shall see you. Peace out, bright blessings, metta, endless devotion to compassionate love, compassion, joy, and freeing myself of hate, destruction, jealousy, envy, resentment, cultivating peace, love, happiness, and liberation from misery, craving, deceit. All right.